So I get asked a lot, and we get asked a lot, how to figure out what is a fake news article. You have to be very careful.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're looking for information desperately, and you find something that validates your opinion, you have to be very careful, because that's the easiest time it is for me or anyone else to fall into the trap of eating up uncritically some fake news narrative, is when you feel like you've been validated. Because that's what we're all searching for. We're not searching for the truth. We're searching for the validation of the argument that we want to be true. So I get asked a lot, and we get asked a lot, how to figure out what is a fake news article. Like, say, Sitch, when you're reading something, how do you know it's fake news? And now it's very easy to spot fake news when you are primed to disagree with it. So if there's something that conforms with your worldview, it's very easy for you to point out it's fake news. It's only when it's maybe not conforming with your worldview. It's only when you maybe want to believe the article that it can be difficult to point out, to figure out what is the fake news. Okay.
Not for me.
Right. So here's a story. This story was making the rounds a lot on Twitter, and I wanted to read it. And let me ask the chat. How should we do this? Should we read through the whole article and then go back and talk about how it's like the red flags for it being fake, or should we do you want to just jump in every time something seems suspicious to you? Just say, "Oh, wait a minute, that seems sus."
I think we should jump in.
Okay, we'll do the jump in. So this article is on Yahoo Finance. It says CH. So every time something's suspicious, Adam, you just cut me off and you say red flag. Okay.
All right. I have both elements working overtime here. I'm ready.
Right. Ready. Okay. It says CHD says Pfizer and FDA dropped data bombshells on COVID vaccine consumers.
Well, already anything about COVID in the mainstream media is bullshit. Already my red flags are going off here.
Right. Okay. Says this is written by the Children's Health Defense.
Is Children's Health Defense the people who say, or?
Yes, CHD says.
Okay. Children's Health Defense says Pfizer and FDA dropped data bombshell on COVID vaccine customers. Let's hear it. What's the bombshell?
So your second red flag should have been, what the fuck is the Children's Health Defense?
No, I don't care about that. Obviously, they're defending the health of children. Okay. It's so obvious.
We'll talk about that later, but that should be the second red flag. This is not an article written by a person. Yeah, this is an article not written by a person, but by an organization.
Right. Okay. And not only that, they're writing an article about themselves. Okay.
Yes.
Exactly. It's a little suspect, but okay.
Right. They're writing an article about themselves. Okay?
Here's my blog post. Adam says.
So the subtitle says clinical trial data contradicts the quote safe and effective government industry mantra.
Okay. Well, that's a little suspect. Red flags are already.
Yeah. Washington, D.C., March 3rd, 2022, in a 55,000-page set of documents released on Tuesday, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration Center for Biologics Evaluation Research is for the first time allowing the public to access data Pfizer submitted to FDA from its clinical trials in support of a COVID-19 vaccine license. This follows U.S. District Judge Mark T. Pittman's decision on January 6th to deny the request from the FDA to suppress the data for the next 75 years, which the agency claimed was necessary in part because of, quote, limited resources.
Okay.
A 38-page report included in the documents feature an appendix list of adverse events of special interest that list 1,291 different adverse events following vaccination.
Sitch, I'm going to say that seems a little high to me.
Okay.
That's
so the red flag is the number.
Right. That's a lot of adverse. Well, hold on. It's events or different events.
It says list of adverse. It says it lists 1,291 different adverse events following vaccination.
Okay. Well, it's just confusing because it could mean
They mean no.
different
They mean
things that
different
happen,
types of
or
things.
or the same thing happened to different people. We don't really know.
They mean um
This could all be the same thing happening to 1,291 different people. It's just poorly written. So I'm
right.
going to
That's
give
not
it
what
a
they
red
mean.
flag for poorly written.
That's not what they mean. They mean that
Mhm.
there were, I believe they mean that there were 1,200 different
Right.
types of things
Okay.
that happened to
They
people.
say right here the list includes.
Right.
So it is a
Yeah.
bunch of different things.
Right. And then it says the list includes, and they rattle off a whole
Yeah.
bunch of different,
Acute kidney injury. Oh
yeah,
man,
terrible things that you get.
what is this one? Tachycarditis. Oh,
I don't know.
cardia.
Temporal lobe epilepsy. A lot
Okay.
testicular autoimmunity. Like lots of bad things. You don't want any of these things. Okay.
Low birth weight. You mean
Right.
if I take the vaccine, I'm gonna have low birth weight?
You are. You are.
That seems impossible, but
They're gonna have foaming at the mouth too. Maybe.
doesn't seem possible, but let's go.
Okay. And then after all the long list, it says are among the 1,246 other medical conditions following vaccination. Okay. No red flags jumping out at you yet?
Yeah, I said then all these different things is a giant red flag.
Is there another chat?
Uh-oh.
Another red flag? Let me see the
Did
chat.
I miss a red flag?
You did. You missed a giant red flag.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they the quoting themselves is the red flag?
No,
List of
come
adverse
on.
special interests?
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, no.
You're the expert. You tell me.
Okay, I was just see if anyone in the chat got it. No, NPreg is not on the list. That's true. That's true.
Damn it.
Automata. Got it.
Oh,
Quote,
it is?
after vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't say because of the vaccination.
Oh.
It says following vaccination.
Right. Yeah.
So this is a list of people that got vaccinated and then had a bunch of symptoms. As I think it was a week after the vaccination. Okay.
Right.
So
right here they got herpes.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The vaccination gave you herpes.
Right.
So if you're a researcher, and this is the way you have to discern fake news, especially fake news about researching, you have to imagine that you are a scientist working for Pfizer, and you get a report that says all these different conditions, people got them after they were vaccinated. What's the first question you are going to ask and then try to find the answer to?
If it was related to the vaccine, if the vaccine was the causal agent of these things, or if it was just something completely different going on.
And what would be, so if you're going on the path to try to figure out if the vaccine caused this, what would be the first piece of data you'd want to know?
What do you mean?
Like if you're trying to see if the vaccine caused these conditions, what would be the first piece of data you'd want to figure out that would tell you that or not?
I don't know. What would tell you that?
It would be trying to find out how many people get these conditions normally and compare it to how many people that had the vaccine got this condition.
Do a lot of people get deep vein thrombosis? Because
I don't know. That's
on
question.
The list, and
it
seems like that might be kind of rare.
Because if they look at it and they say, well, 0.2% of people that got the vaccine got deep vein thrombosis, and then you say, well, 0.2% of the general population gets deep vein thrombosis every week anyway, then it doesn't seem like the vaccine would cause it. That seems to be normal.
Just the fact that there's so many different adverse events screams that they're completely unrelated. Like if there's a huge spike in cardiac arrest, you'd say, okay, well, that's unusual. But having a vaccine cause all of these different things, that seems strange, right?
So the red flag here that you'll see is that this article does not tell you some key pieces of data. It doesn't tell you what the average, like how many people on average get these conditions and how that compares to the vaccine.
Right.
So like if it said 0.2% of the population gets deep vein thrombosis, but 10% of people that have been vaccinated get deep vein thrombosis, then you'd be like, whoa, that increase is something to look at. That seems like the vaccine is causing this condition in some people, right? Okay. That is not discussed at all in this document.
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Terrible.
Okay, so that's a big red flag. Okay, moving on. Quote, this is a bombshell, said Children's Health Defense President and General Counsel Mary Holland. So we have the Children's Health Defense is saying in an article that they wrote that this is a bombshell.
Right. Yeah. That Mary Holland commissioned to be written.
Yes. It'd be like, I'm asking my boss, and they said it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Quote, at least now we know why the FDA and Pfizer want to keep this data under wraps for 75 years. These findings should put an immediate end to the Pfizer COVID vaccines. The potential for serious harm is very clear, and those injured by the vaccines are prohibited from suing Pfizer for damages.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's terrible, obviously.
Right.
But
right. So, red flag. This person is saying, accordingly, to just looking at this list of 1,291 adverse effects that people experienced after vaccination, that no one should be getting this vaccine anymore. Yeah. You can't make that determination if you don't have the key information, which so far the article has provided us with zero key information about whether these things were caused by the vaccine or not, or whether that's just naturally people get diseases.
Aren't you glad the pandemic's over?
I'm super glad the pandemic's over.
So am I.
The U.S. government has already purchased 50 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine intended for children under 5 years of age to be delivered April 30th, 2022.
That's
although
crazy.
The FDA has yet to grant emergency use authorization for this age group.
That's
crazy. I would be shocked if people are still getting, unless like something crazy happens. I don't think people are going to get vaccinated in April.
That's why they're writing these made-up articles, because they probably will. Biden's probably going to come out and say, you got to vaccinate your 5-year-olds. Line up. Yeah. We have all these vaccines we want to use. April
30th, COVID's like, it, you know, the 0.1% people get it. And they're like, you have to get your kids vaccinated. The risk of serious injury or death from COVID to healthy children is practically nil, and so far the vaccine is not effective when used in young children. According to The Guardian, quote, Pfizer made nearly $37 billion in sales from its COVID vaccine last year, making it one of the most lucrative products in history, and has forecast another bumper year in 2022 with a big boost coming from its COVID-19 pill, Paxlovid. President Biden advertised Paxlovid in a State of the Union address on Tuesday, the same day the Pfizer data was released to the public. Quote, we're launching the test to treat initiative so people can get tested at a pharmacy, and if they're positive, receive antiviral pills on the spot at no cost, Biden said during his speech.
Is this okay? Is Biden still talking about COVID? Is this recent? When's this thing?
Yeah, State of the Union.
Oh.
So that was recent.
March
the pill was recent. Yeah.
This article is March 3rd.
This article is March 3rd.
These people need to get over it, okay? The pandemic's over.
I agree. Red flag should be pointing out how much money Pfizer made is not super relevant to whether the vaccine works or not.
Poisoning the well right there.
Yeah, poisoning the well. Adam's favorite, the some bad faith, poisoning the well. From mid-December 2020 through February 18, 2022, the U.S. government's database, the Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System, has received 1,100,340,984 reports of adverse events, including 24,402 deaths following COVID vaccination. So again,
that's a huge red flag. I mean,
again, same problem we have with earlier in the article. Just because someone dies or has a bad effect after the vaccine does not mean that it was because of the vaccine. If I get vaccinated and I walk out of my house and get hit by a car, the vaccine presumably did not make me get hit by the car. Additionally, there have been 4,021 cases of myocarditis and pericarditis in the U.S., with 2,475 cases associated with Pfizer, 1,364 cases with Moderna, 171 cases with J&J COVID vaccine. These include 643 reports of myocarditis and pericarditis in child aged 12 to 17. Red flag again.
Associated.
How often do people get myocarditis and pericarditis? A, on their own, and B, from COVID itself.
Oh, really?
Because that's a big side effect of having COVID
Is
is
myocarditis.
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 Yes.
So it's kind of a lie to say associated with Pfizer, right? Because I
Well,
mean, we don't.
I assume what they mean is people who reported to the theirs who had the Pfizer vaccine and then they reported they had myocarditis afterwards.
Right.
So,
Okay.
quote, it would be criminal to expose infants and young children to this extremely risky product, said Holland. Quote, VAERS data shows the catastrophic health impacts the vaccine is having on millions of people, yet Pfizer and other vaccine makers are raking in billions of dollars with no fear of being held accountable for injuries and deaths from their vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
So we have same problems there. The FDA's attempt to suppress these data in support of the pharmaceutical industry's bottom line isn't a new phenomenon in this country's public health system. For more information on pharmaceutical corruption and the tight relationship the industry has with government regulatory agencies, read The Real Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, Big Pharma, and the Global War on Democracy and Public Health by CHD Chair and Lead Counsel Robert F. Kennedy.
So
Chair.
pimping your book in your unbiased journalism is probably not. That might be a red flag. I think we might have found another red flag here.
Yes, if you end your article saying buy my book.
The Real Anthony Fauci,
Yes.
Bill Gates, Big
Yes.
Pharma, and the Global
Right.
War on Democracy and Health. That sounds like a super unbiased book. I'm going to have to get that one.
Yeah, right.
Children's Hospital Defense is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Of course they are.
Yes.
How do you pay your CEO a giant
Right.
salary tax-free if you're not
Right.
a 501c3?
So, yeah, and then the last red flag is if you look up what Children's Health Defense is, you find out it's an organization chaired by Robert Kennedy Jr., who, if you're familiar with him, has been anti-vax long before COVID.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you're
And
right.
yeah, he's kind of like famously known for being anti-vax. And the organization is, it was an anti-vax organization long before COVID ever existed. So,
Are these anti-vaxxers bad faith? That's my question.
Of course they are.
Does Robert F. Kennedy know he's scamming people?
no, I mean, I think he honestly believes it. I think Robert F. Kennedy has a child who
Oh, really? Okay.
got autism, or he knows.
So he's a true
like
believer.
Yeah, so and he thinks it's because of the vaccine or something,
Right.
or it wasn't from COVID, but he thinks his child got autism from like a normal vaccine or something. So
Crazy.
So and then another thing. So if the article does link to the report they're referencing,
Mm-hmm.
and if you look through the report that's being referenced, it
Oh,
doesn't even. It tells you how many people had.
Oh, God. That's hilarious.
It tells you how many people, how many cases they're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, of these adverse reactions. But here's the problem: it tells you how many people like listed adverse reactions a week after the vaccine. It doesn't tell you how many people got the vaccine in total. Okay, so if you only know that like the 25,000 or whatever the number was people that had adverse reactions, but you don't know how many people out of the total that number is literally useless. Is that 25,000 out of 30,000? Because then you'd be like, holy shit, that's crazy. Is that 25,000 people out of a million?
Mm-hmm.
100 million? 500? Is it out of a billion people? Without knowing what that number is, that number is useless on its own.
Yeah. This is
So-
definitely anti-vax propaganda here,
Yes.
intended to deceive.
Yes. And I saw lots of people, lots of people on Twitter who I respect their opinions on uncritically sharing this article.
I would hazard a guess that one of those people was James Lindsay.
I don't remember honestly if he did or not. I hope he did. But I saw lots of people sharing this article.
Well, name some names. Come on, give us the dirt.
I don't want to name any names. I'm not gonna throw any people in the bus.
Oh,
I'm just
really?
saying- I'm
I mean,
just
I
saying,
threw
listen,
James Lindsay under the bus just now.
if he did, if he did tweet it out, I don't remember if he did though. But a lot of people were celebrating, saying, "Oh, they said we were fake news, but look, here's a Yahoo News article saying all this stuff." Okay. Now, your final way of knowing that there's red flag here is that I don't know if you noticed, we're reading an archive version of the article.
Oh, they took it down? Holy cow. Hilarious.
It's because they took the article down. The article doesn't exist anymore.
Of course it doesn't. Why'd they take it down, I wonder?
I wonder. I'm actually
some fake news.
I'm pretty shocked this article was ever put up in the first place.
People hate you right now, Sitch, because I mean, are you still listening to Vax Adams? It kind of sounds like it.
He doesn't talk about it anymore.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
Yeah. So now nothing in this article, just because the article is wrong, doesn't prove that the vaccines are safe or effective. Okay. I'm just saying this article is 100% fake news. And it's important for you, even if you want to argue that you think the vaccines are unsafe. If you go out there with this article and you argue with someone, they're going to look at it and they're going to make you look like a fool because this is a terrible source to draw from. Okay. So it's important for everyone to be able to figure out and discern what is fake news, even for very cynical reasons.
I agree.
Okay. So there you go.
Man, this article sucks.
This article is super sucks. Super sucks.
Why would anyone share it? I guess because just they don't like.
Because this is what happens. People on Twitter, all they see is I see a Yahoo News article and says Pfizer drops bombshell. 1,200 adverse effects from vaccination. That's what they see. And they go, oh, validation. You have to be very careful. Whenever you're looking for information desperately and you find something that validates your opinion, you have to be very careful because that's the easiest time it is for me or anyone else to fall into the trap of eating up uncritically some fake news narrative is when you feel like you've been validated. Because that's what we're all searching for. We're not searching for the truth. We're searching for the validation of the argument that we want to be true.
I 100% agree with that.
So you have to be super sus when you see something that you think validates your argument. Like, wait a minute, let me really dig into this.
Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch and Adams show. If you like what you heard, you can listen to our live show right here on this channel on Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want, you can super chat us. We read $20 and up super chats on the show and then do a follow-up stream on the following Tuesday where we read the rest of the unread super chats and interact with fans of the show. Subscribe to this channel right here to listen to the live show or to listen to more of our awesome clips.